Welcome to Animal DNA, our extraordinary expedition through the animal kingdom. We'll explore the unique traits and characteristics of animals of all kinds, how species relate to one another, and ways in which they survive and thrive in their diverse environments around the planet. And so our journey begins. Today, we'll dive into the water to swim with dolphins, whales, swordfish, and turtles. Let's start with the incomparable, friendly, and beloved dolphins. Dolphins, or Delphinidae, are called oceanic dolphins to distinguish them from the Platanistidae, which are river dolphins. This is a family of odonticet cetaceans, i.e. with teeth, comprising 37 species at present. The 7 best-known species are the coastal common dolphin, the oceanic dolphin, the bottlenose dolphin, the spotted dolphin, the dusky dolphin, the southern dolphin, and the white dolphin. Because dolphins are mammals, they need to reach the surface of the water to breathe. Unlike mammals on Earth, which breathe and eat through their mouths, dolphins have separate orifices for each task. Dolphins eat through their mouths and breathe through their nostrils, or blowholes, located right on top of their heads. This prevents the dolphin's lungs from filling with water while using its mouth during the hunt, reducing its risk of drowning. Dolphins have 2 stomachs. One is used to store food, and the other is used for digestion. The interesting physiological constitution can be explained by the fact that dolphins do not chew food, rather they swallow it whole. They use their teeth only to capture their prey, which are mainly small fish and squid. Dolphins are great divers and swimmers. Although they are often skimming the surface of the water, these mammals have the ability to reach 980 feet deep and typically swim at a speed between 2 and 7 miles per hour. Sometimes, when needed, they can push their speed to as high as 18 miles per hour. Dolphins help sick or injured animals. The stories of heroic dolphins are not isolated cases. These mammals have the instinct to help those in need, especially members of its group. They love to play and are friendly with other animals, even with humans. They are extremely intelligent animals as well. Some studies suggest that the dolphin is the second-ranked animal on the intelligence scale, behind only human beings. Dolphins can even name themselves. They develop their own individual whistles and recognize one another through those sounds. This animal's vision is not particularly developed, unlike its sense of location. This feature, called echolocation, is provided by the air sacs located in their heads. They produce high-frequency or ultrasonic sounds that function as a kind of sonar and bring information about what is in the environment. They use sounds, echoes, dancing, and jumping to communicate, orient themselves, and reach their prey. Have you ever heard the phrase, sleeping with one eye open? When dolphins are asleep, one part of their brain remains alert and awake. This helps protect them from potential predators and also allows them to breathe while they sleep. They breathe through nostrils, called a blowhole, located right on top of their heads. This allows them to take breaths by exposing just the top of their heads to the air while they're swimming or resting underwater. Dolphins have very delicate skin, which makes them feel pain easily. If they touch a surface too hard, they can cut their skin. But despite this thin skin, they heal extremely quickly. Dolphins are on average roughly 7 to 9 feet long, with fusiform bodies and large heads. Unlike most animals in the wild, the dolphin usually accompanies its young for a long period of time, ranging from 3 to 8 years. Pollution, fishing, and hunting have put some dolphin species' futures at risk. 5 species are known to be included in the red list of endangered species: the pink dolphin, the Ganges river dolphin, the Irrawaddy river dolphin, the Takushi dolphin, and the Yangtze finless dolphin. In 2006, the Yangtze river dolphin was declared functionally extinct. A functionally extinct organism is one that may have a few individuals still living, but will never recover. We'll be right back with more animal DNA. Welcome back to Animal DNA. Let's see if you can answer this trivia question. Where was the famous 60s TV series Flipper filmed? Orlando, Florida? Miami, Florida? Santa Monica, California? Honolulu, Hawaii? If you answered Miami, Florida, you're right. Now, let's get to know whales a little better. Cetacea is one of 2 scientific orders of large mammals that live in water. The other order known as Sirenia. Cetaceans include all whales and dolphins. The word cetacean is derived from the Greek word ketos, meaning whale. In the upper part of their bodies, whales have 2 blowholes through which they take in the air needed to stay underwater for long periods of time. Some of the whales we know are the bowhead whale. In the southern hemisphere of the planet, we find the southern right whale. North of the Atlantic Ocean and in the Arctic is where the glacial right whale, or basque whale, inhabits. The North Pacific right whale is almost extinct due to illegal whaling by the former Soviet state. The Balanoturgids, another type of whale known by its grooves in the throat, since they have folds in the lower jaw that expand when taking in water to feed, allowing them to drink more water at one time. There is also the pygmy right whale and the gray whale, which is characterized by not having a dorsal fin and instead carrying small humps. Known for being the largest mammals on planet Earth, whales are fantastic animals, loved by many, feared by others, given their sheer bulk. With different shapes, sizes, and colors, whales have inspired great books and movies, and have captured the interest of adults and children alike. Few people are lucky enough to see beautiful animals up close in their natural habitats. Whales do not sleep completely. Similar to the dolphins, they need plenty of oxygen and regularly come to the surface in search of air. For this reason, their sleep state is semi-conscious. One of the whale's forms of communication is music. According to scientists, they sing for reproductive purposes. The sounds emitted by them cannot be heard by the human ear, as they communicate at a much lower frequency than our ears can discern. But other whales can hear these songs, up to 20 miles away. The heart of a blue whale beats so loudly that its sound travels far as well. It can be heard 1.8 miles away. Whales possess an organ near their chin that no other animal has, which helps them filter the food caught in the sea. Depending on their size, whales can store about 1 ton of food in their stomachs. Whales swim at about 3 miles per hour when they are underwater. They slow down to a ½ mile per hour when feeding or in the breeding area. They do not have good eyesight and navigate by the echoes of the high-pitched sounds they release into the water. The blue whale is similar, in terms of size, to some dinosaurs, such as Titanosaurus or Argentinosaurus. They're the largest animals in history, exceeding 3 times the size of a common dinosaur. The blue whale is the heaviest animal on planet Earth, weighing around 140 tons. Its tongue alone weighs 6 tons. Females are the most important figures in whale communities. They're the ones who lead the groups and stay with the calves. The blue whale gives birth to a single calf, which is born about 1/3 the size of its mother. A whale calf can consume about 500 liters of milk per day as it grows and develops. Blue whales can live a long time, about 50 years. We'll be right back with more Animal DNA. Welcome back to Animal DNA. Let's see if you can answer this trivia question. How are dolphins different from porpoises? Dolphins have curved dorsal fins. Dolphins are bigger. Dolphins have longer beaks. All of the above. The answer is all of the above. Enough about mammals. Let's talk about fish. Namely, the swordfish, Siphius gladiu. The plot of Ernest Hemingway's novel, The Old Man and the Sea, focuses on catching a giant marlin, or sailfish, Astiophorus. This fish is similar to, but not the same as, the swordfish. They actually belong to different species. The swordfish does not have a large dorsal fin of the sailfish, and the upper jaw of the swordfish is elongated but flattened, not conical like that of the sailfish. They both inhabit tropical and temperate waters in the Atlantic, Pacific, and Indian Oceans. Swordfish are very popular in certain cuisine, often served as fillets and sashimi. Swordfish populations in U.S. waters are recovering after intense and indiscriminate fishing to accommodate this culinary desire. This fishing also resulted in a large, incidental catch of another sea creature altogether, sea turtles. Sea turtles are ancient and mysterious creatures. They roamed the oceans 100 million years ago, witnessing the expansion and extinction of the dinosaurs. All sea turtles lay their eggs on land, as the species originated on land before moving to the aquatic environment. Of the 8 species living today in all the world's seas, 7 belong to the Colonidae family. The loggerhead turtle, green turtle, the hawksbill turtle, the Kemp's Ridley turtle, the olive Ridley turtle, the flatback turtle, the black turtle, and one species from the Dermocolidae family, leatherback turtle. Of these 8 species of sea turtles, 5 are found in the Mediterranean: the hawksbill turtle, Kemp's turtle, leatherback turtle, loggerhead turtle, and green turtle. Their weight and dimensions are considerable: 100 pounds and 2.5 feet long for some Kemp's Ridley turtles, and 2 tons and 6.5 feet long for leatherback turtles. Although reptiles, like snakes, crocodiles, and land turtles, sea turtles are animals adapted to aquatic life. They evolved to have a flattened carapace, limbs transformed into flippers, a reduced skeleton, lungs capable of efficiently filtering oxygen, brief respirations at the surface of the water, and long periods of apnea, a temporary pause in breathing. The green turtle and hawksbill turtle have the ability to dive 30 feet underwater. Loggerhead turtles can reach 656 feet, olive ridleys 820 feet, and the leatherback turtles can dive a staggering 3,280 feet. Sea turtles have a very complex life cycle. They prefer terrestrial habitats for nesting, pelagic or open sea habitats during migrations, and neritic or shallow water habitats for foraging. After mating, females go up to the beach, usually returning to the beach where they were born, to lay their eggs. They dig a deep hole with their hind flippers, cover the eggs with sand, then return to the sea. After 42 to 74 days of incubation, of variable length, in the sun-warmed sand, the hatchlings emerge from the nest and migrate offshore to spend their entire lives of 4 to 5 years in the ocean. Juveniles and adults lead a wandering life, moving from their nesting area to foraging and wintering areas and back. As these areas are distant, they travel several thousand miles each year. This migratory behavior is one of the most characteristic features of sea turtles. Scientists can track the oceanic movements of sea turtles with satellite beacons. A transmitter is attached to a turtle's shell, and each time the turtle surfaces to breathe, the device sends signals that allow its position to be calculated. Now, let's swim with one of the most magnificent animals in the sea, an intelligent, prolific hunter who is often misunderstood, the orca whale. The orca whale, Orcinus orca, is a mammal that lives in the oceans and cold water seas. It belongs to the class Mammalia, order Cetacea, and family Delphinidae. It is a close relative to dolphins. Scientifically, the orca, often called a killer whale, is not a whale, but a dolphin. However, it is not incorrect to call it an orca whale, since dolphins and whales belong to the same order Cetacea. The main difference between whales and killer whales would be in their skeleton structures. Orcas have teeth, just like dolphins. Though known as the killer whale, this is merely referring to their hunting prowess. Accidents involving humans have only been recorded in captivity. This infamy is due, especially, to movies that show the killer whale attacking humans or other animals. This is not likely to happen in the wild. Orca whales are characterized by their colors. Their back is black, and underside and patches near the eyes are white. In addition, each orca has a white spot behind its dorsal fin, which allows for identifying and distinguishing between them. The orca has a thick layer of blubber that protects it from low temperatures, acting as a thermal insulator. It has a very high fin on its back. In males, the fins are triangular and high, while in females, they are curved. Orcas are big. Male orcas can measure up to 32 feet long and weigh between 9 and 10 tons. Females typically measure up to 28 feet long and weigh between 6 and 8 tons. The pups are born with an average length of about 8 feet and weigh about 2 tons. Orcas inhabit all oceans on Earth, and with our help, we'll be able to survive in the deep blue for years to come. And with that, our journey has come to an end. See you next time on Animal DNA, where we humans decode all the secrets of our friends in the animal kingdom in order to learn more about them and a little bit more about ourselves, too.